If you haven't heard about Anchor, it's the easiest way to make a podcast. Let me explain. It's free. There's creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer. Anchor will distribute your podcast for you so it can be heard in Spotify, Apple Podcast, and many more. You can make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. It's everything you need to make a podcast in one place.
All right, everybody, welcome to the PWZ podcast. This is Rick Del Santo, and joining me, this is a reunion of sorts, the DVD Freak and JJ Sins, and I'm excited to be here with you. It's a nice, what was it? The gathering of misfits, so to speak. How's it going?
Yeah, when's the last time all three of us recorded at the same time? It's been
exactly
a while.
When that is. It's February of 2021 was the last time that the three of us were on the same session recording. So it's been about 3 months since we worked together. So, we had a lot to work out and a lot of improvement, but we're back. We're going to be rocking and rolling, so I'm ready.
Oh, yeah.
I'm ready too.
Of course, tonight kicked off WrestleMania weekend with night one, and there's some goods, there's some lows, highs, some lows, and in-betweens. What did you guys think so far?
I would put it a little above average in terms of WrestleMania. I think we haven't had like a really good WrestleMania since WrestleMania 31. 30 was great, and then 32, 33, 34, 35 were just kind of garbage. But last year it's hard to really judge that because of the circumstances. Like, you can't really judge 36 on your basic standards. You really have to look at it as it is what it is type of thing. Whereas This one, we have a stadium, we had a kick-ass stage. I was really
I thought that was really nice.
Yeah. So overall, I thought this was pretty decent for your big return back. I kind of liked it.
Yeah, I agree. It felt good to see fans back in, an arena, watching wrestling, hearing that response. I think that had a lot to do with, with WrestleMania being pretty good. Plus, again, it wasn't that bad. I liked some parts of it. Some parts of it were just But, I enjoyed it a lot more than I thought I would. So.
I was very excited to hear a crowd and see a crowd. I think that made a difference in the all around presentation of the event and the excitement, my excitement for the event. As soon as they started, obviously there was a weather delay. What was it, about 40 minutes, Freak? 45 minutes?
Yeah,
there was a weather delay.
Yeah, they evacuated the stadium, and then they started filing fans back in. They did some interviews in between. Like, you had Bobby Lashley and Drew McIntyre kind of hyping up their match. So, I mean, it wasn't that long. I was actually surprised that it was only 45 minutes or somewhere around there. I was afraid it was going to be longer, and I'm kind of afraid for tomorrow night because the weather's looking to be worse. So I don't know.
I'm hoping that things change overnight. Things can change overnight. The rain delay made a whole difference in the length of the show because it ended up going. I would think at least that they would end up cutting some things down, at least by a few minutes maybe, or maybe cutting some of the backstage stuff out or something to that effect. You know what I mean? To try to keep up with the regular night, because something like, I love me some professional wrestling. I really do. But going to a really long show, it could be really tiring. I was at WrestleMania 35 and it was 9 hours long, and it was just brutal. So it's just like, and I could sit there for a good 3-4 hour show nonstop, but this almost hit 5 hours. They didn't want a pre-show, but they ended up having a pre-show anyways because of the rain delay and them trying to hype it up. They went to emergency interviews and all this other stuff. So, it ended up going way longer than than it should have. By about an hour.
I was at 34, and we didn't get out of the Superdome until like 12:30. Like at that point, you're just wanting the show to end, and I don't like that WrestleMania is 2 nights, but it is convenient that you don't have to sit here for 7 hours in one show.
I don't mind.
I kind of like it.
I don't mind the fact that it's 2 nights, because if you look at like New Japan, they run Wrestle Kingdom a couple nights. There's just like other companies that run their biggest shows over a weekend period, and I just think it makes the most sense, really, because instead of having a 9-hour show, do 2 4-hour shows or something like that. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And split up the biggest matches rather than having a big match in the beginning and then, you know what I'm saying? Sorry.
Do you think they'll stick with the format of 2 nights after all this shit ends? I think they will.
I would hope so. I would hope
WrestleMania Saturday. If you notice him saying that,
you're right. He did, and he killed that. That he said it quite often.
Yeah.
Throughout the entire evening, so that could become a thing. I know next year, as of present time, they're only advertised for 1 night. Right. But if they, that obviously it's a year away, so they can change that. Tickets haven't gone on sale yet, so anything can happen.
They should stick with. I kind of like it with 2 nights. Well, again, like you said, 7-hour show or split it in half. It's, I don't know. It seems a lot better over 2 nights, I think.
That's what I'm thinking.
I think next year, I think they're going to go with the 1 night because they're trying to sell out AT&T Stadium.
Right.
This was easy. They only had to sell 25,000 tickets per night, and a lot of those were just double tickets. Whereas AT&T Stadium, they're shooting for that quotations 100,000, aka like 80,000 fans. So I just don't know if they can pull off a 2-night sellout. And you also have to think about it. Would you rather watch 2 nights of Wrestle Kingdom or 2 nights of WrestleMania?
I think you're right. I think you know the answer to that one.
Yeah.
I think you know.
Is that a rhetorical question?
Yeah. So I think 2 nights of New Japan is different than 2 nights of WWE. I think there's a big difference.
Well, we'll get into that because 2 nights of WrestleMania, you're going to see random things that probably shouldn't fit in because they're trying to put in filler. Well, WWE has a lot of filler as it is, but this show definitely had some filler. 7 matches per night between tonight and tomorrow. So the opening match, I'm surprised that they put it on as early as they did, to be honest with you. I know that usually if there's 2 title matches, they put one of them on first, but I would have liked this to have gone right underneath the main event, this match. But Bobby Lashley retained the title against Drew McIntyre, which I was not entirely convinced that Bobby was going to walk out with the title. Going into WrestleMania, I thought it could really go either way. I kind of wouldn't have minded Drew winning because he did not have that WrestleMania moment last year in front of a live crowd, and it seemed like that's what they were going to try to build. But I'm kind of happy that, because it is Bobby Lashley's time to have that title and go with it and be the face of the company, et cetera, et cetera. And I thought these guys put on a really good match. I really like this match. I thought it was way better than I expected going into it.
I called it. I knew this was going to be the opener. It's just it made sense for it to be the opener. I like I don't know. Ever since WrestleMania 27, they had Edge and Del Rio's. That was the first time they had the world title as the first match, and ever since then, they tend to like to have a title match of some sort. I prefer to have it be structuralized, have like a really cool opener and then work your way up the card. But
Right.
it's the sign of the times we're in. You know, you're going to have a world title match in the beginning. And, you know, I thought this was a decent match for what it was. I think my biggest problem with it was I didn't feel like they had chemistry. It just didn't work. And them two, this match didn't really click. It didn't really reach the third gear. But I was happy with the result because I think it would have been stupid at this point to take the title off Bobby Lashley. And like you said, I was afraid that McIntyre was going to win because he never had that crowning moment that he was supposed to have last year. But, you know, I stand by it. I was a real big fan of this really dominant win that Bobby Lashley had. I thought this was probably going to be a pinfall. No, this was like a full Nelson, master lock, whatever you want to call it. That win kind of came out of nowhere for me.
Is that one of those things where he didn't actually submit? He actually like passed out from the pain, or is that what? That's what I see. That's what it appeared that they were going with.
Yeah, I was surprised by that, but I'm happy about it.
At least they could say that. At least they could go with the storyline that Drew isn't a quitter, that kind of a thing, and build on that as well, and that he passed out from the pain. You know, like because he wouldn't give up.
It leaves it open for another match for sure.
Exactly. JJ.
Well, unfortunately, I did not see this match. I texted you, Rick. Oh, I'm going on a wine run. Remember I told you that?
Yeah, that's right.
However, the two of you describing the match and letting me know how it ended, that makes it sound interesting. However, I am not a Bobby Lashley fan. Never was. I just think he's dull and boring. I'm not going to say he doesn't have any talent because he's very talented. I just don't have. I'm just not a fan.
One of the things that I got to say about Lashley, though, JJ, is that WWE builds him up like a certain way. It's not that I'm not a Lashley fan. I don't hate him. I think he has some very good talent. It's just I think his Impact run was really well done because he had more freedom. He was able to cut his own promos, and he wasn't boring. You know, he actually. So he was really good in Impact.
Because there was a time in Impact when Bobby Lashley was in Impact, he was holding all the titles.
Yeah.
And I just thought that was ridiculous. Like, really? It's Bobby Lashley. Again, I'm just not a fan of him. I don't get the hype. And again, I know he's talented. He can cut a promo. It just doesn't tickle my fancy, I guess, when it comes to wrestling. I just don't see the attraction. So, but he got the belt. They're gonna give him a nice, long, lengthy run, and I'm sure that's well deserved. But
I'm wondering if what's the next pay-per-view? Money in the Bank, right? Freak.
I have no idea what's next one. I have no clue.
Usually, I believe Money in the Bank is the next one. So I think that they'll definitely meet again at the next show, next pay-per-view. We'll have to see what happens. Next up was, let's see here, the Tag Team Turmoil. I don't really give a damn about this match. Why was this match? Like, this was Natalia, and apparently I cannot write her name right. I wrote Stamina, or autocorrect, but it was Tamina.
Stamina.
Tamina.
Autocorrect will get you. But Tamina, they won the Tag Team Turmoil. So tomorrow night they meet Al Mahol and Shayna Baszler. So we'll have to see what happens. I don't think that they're going to win the tag team titles tomorrow. This match really did nothing for me. I don't like gauntlet style matches. This was relatively boring to me. There's nothing else I could say about it, to be honest with you. I was kind of zoned out because it just really was not interested in whatsoever.
Yeah, this one, this was your literal pre-show match, if I've ever seen one. And it's just like, I didn't see either of these matches, but they had the pre-show matches on SmackDown last night, or Friday night. And
last night, yeah.
it's just like I would rather have seen the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal. I'm a Battle Royal fan. I'm a sucker.
I like Battle Royals because it's like, they have an old school feel to it. You know what I mean? You don't see them enough these days. Like, I think WWE basically does them once a year at WrestleMania most of the time, right?
Yeah, and I feel like this was just a way to get all the women on so people don't complain.
Uh-huh.
So, yeah, it's just like Tamina and Natalya. Like, of all the fucking choices you could have picked, that's the one you pick? Come on. That's literally the two most boring women's wrestlers like in the entire roster. The most boring ones. I couldn't believe it. I'm like, are you kidding me? That's who you picked? Like, geez, come on.
Oh, that just makes me think they're not going to take the titles. So
But
tomorrow
why
night.
have a gauntlet if you're not going to take the titles?
It's WWE.
Because it's WWE.
Yeah.
See? There's
WWE.
no logic. There's booking and there's WWE booking. So, or there's logic and WWE logic. So they don't always do things that make sense, Yeah. Sometimes you think that they would do things that don't make sense so down the road that it would end up making sense, but not in this situation.
WWE. Yeah. I didn't care for this match. Yeah. WWE. What was the next match? I don't know what to go with. Honestly,
the next.
Well, who thought Vince McMahon looked really weird when he came out in front of the audience? Like, he's had a ton of makeup on, didn't he?
He looks like he's made out of silicone.
Yeah.
He's getting up there in age. He's what, 75 now? Is it?
Yeah.
So
I know he's in his 70s. It's scary. It almost sounded like he couldn't talk. I was kind of concerned about his health, and it's the way he looked. Tons of makeup on.
Yeah. Well, he's always done that. Like, well, sort of, but he's looking more pale. If you notice, he's looking more pale and more gray. Like, he's definitely getting up there. You know what I mean? Like, he looks like he's
pushing age.
I wouldn't say, his health is. I wouldn't say declining, but you know what I mean. He's getting to that age, so he's starting to look his age. Finally, I mean, he never really looked his age because he always got himself. He always took care of himself. So
yeah, he's juicing up, but I will say it was good to see him at WrestleMania. I can't remember the last time we saw him at WrestleMania. It was good to see, and we got the welcome to WrestleMania. It was cool. I like that.
Yeah, I enjoyed that. Yeah, I forgot to talk about that, but mention that. But I enjoyed that. It's cool.
The next match is my favorite match of the evening. Cesaro defeated Seth Rollins. I actually jumped out of my seat for this one because I didn't really think that they were going to give Cesaro the win. I was really just hoping that they would because, this guy deserves his shot. It's been his time for God knows how long. How long has he been with the company now, Freak? About 10 years? Probably?
I think like 2012 or somewhere around there he made his debut. Like, he was like,
so roughly 12, 9 years or so. Yeah. So about 9 years. Like, he's a guy that's... Go ahead.
Well, no, he made his debut on Raw or SmackDown.
I think it was Raw. Yeah, I believe it was Raw.
He in FCW for a while?
Yeah, he was once Antonio.
Yes, he was.
Yeah, he was once Antonio Cesaro, and then he won the Battle Royal at WrestleMania 30 in 2014, and then they paired him with Jack Swagger for the what was it?
We the People with
Dutch Mantel.
Dutch Mantel.
Yeah. I love that.
Yeah.
Man, those are good times.
This is like this guy is a great wrestler, and he's been a really good hand for the last better part of 10 years. So I'm wondering, they're finally going to break it and just go forward with it. I really hope so because I've been saying that he's champion, he deserves a championship run before he retires. Not that he's gonna. I don't think he's gonna retire anytime soon because I think he's still a few years younger than I am. But I'm hoping that this is it. That this match made him defeating somebody, getting the rub from Seth Rollins is going to put him in that position where he's going to really go forward and skyrocket towards a championship, or even like just a really big push.
Yeah.
Look, I'm sorry, but I'm pissed off that this only went 11 minutes. Like, yeah, I was happy.
That's
about
11 minutes of the show, though.
Yeah, but still, I would rather have. I'd rather have a 25-minute barn burner
I
between
get you.
these two.
Oh.
Even 18 minutes. Like, I didn't want this one to end. Like, you easily could have taken that bullshit fucking turmoil match, put that on a pre-show, and give that time to this match. So I don't know. I was happy, but I was still disappointed because this wasn't the classic that I wanted. But, I'm just glad that Cesaro got the win. I do not believe they will go anywhere with it, just due to past experience. So I don't think this will lead to him winning a title or anything. This will probably just lead to nothing, as always.
I'm hoping that's not true, but
I
we'll have
hope
to see.
You're wrong. Yeah, I hope you're wrong. I forgot how fun it was to watch Cesaro and Seth Rollins wrestle, just in general. Did you guys catch that corkscrew splash that Rollins did off the top rope? I popped for that. I don't know if you guys caught that. That was pretty insane. There was a sequence before somebody hit a pedigree and then it turned into an arm swing or whatever. There was a lot of good sweet sequences in that match I enjoyed. And I really hope that Cesaro gets that long overdue push, just like these two were talking about. Will it happen? Who knows? I see it happening. The positivity in me is like, maybe they'll push him. No?
It's very well deserved. You can't deny that it's not well
very
deserved because the guy's been busting his ass, even in the Indies and Ring of Honor and all that such things. And he finally gets to WWE, and he has been a really good hand for them. And he's been out there, wrestles some really great matches. And I mean, even the match that he, back was it 2000 whatever when he came in after a couple of years, he had a match on Raw with Cena, and I thought that match was phenomenal. Anytime Cena gets in there with like a legit wrestler, he can put on a really fucking good match. And I thought that I was like, they're going to be so impressed with him and they're going to give him a push. But that never happened at that time period. I don't even know when the hell that was. I can't remember.
Probably 2014 and 2015.
Man, it sounds about right. Yeah.
I feel like if they were to give him a push, it'll be one of those like Jeff Hardy things where they just give him a title as like a thank you for being loyal to us for the past 10 years thing, and then it'll mean nothing. Like, kind of rewarding him for being loyal, not jumping ship.
But didn't Hardy win the belt a couple times? That's the other thing. He won it at least 2 times.
Yeah, but he never had a significant title reign. It was always one of those things. They're like, all right, we'll give it to you for a month just so it's on your record type thing, I feel like that. Yeah. I feel like if he were to win a title, it would just be that, or like the Dolph Ziggler thing, where people were clamoring for it for so long, they give it to him, and then he just loses it, and people kind of forget about it. So I don't think he'll never get a lengthy run, but it's just frustrating.
It would be nice for him to have a meaningful run, but booking WWE.
Yeah, booking. This is WWE booking, of course. So next is probably one of my favorite moments of the evening is the New Day lost the tag team titles to AJ Styles and Omos. Finally get to see Omos in the ring, and he's not wearing your traditional wrestling gear. I like how he stands there, and you could hit him, and he looks at you like a fly came across his face, kind of a thing. I like that guy. I don't know what it is about him. I don't necessarily like big guys that can't necessarily work. I mean, not that he hasn't shown that he can work or can't work, really, because the match was pretty short in itself. And he just basically did a couple power bombs and throwing these guys around. So I'm just glad the tag titles are off the New Day. They've had a lot of runs with with those belts, and it's time for somebody else to take these belts. And AJ and Omos, I think, as out of a combination, a lot of people were complaining about it. Why does he need a bodyguard? But he's teaming with Almost. It's like, well, now he's a tag team partner. The champions holding. I don't think AJ won the tag titles yet. Freak. I'm trying to remember.
No, not the WWE ones. No.
That's what I thought. That's what I thought. So sometimes my memory goes, but that's what I'm thinking. That he has to have a tag title run. This was kind of an enjoyable match. It was a lot of fun. I thought. It's not a 5-star classic or anything like that, but it was just a little bit of fun.
So I was very against AJ Styles being in a tag match at WrestleMania. I want him in a singles match classic. But this one, I'm like, all right, I'll give it a chance. And this Omos guy, like I said, don't take a bump, don't sell anything, and he didn't. This was great. Like, he literally didn't leave his feet. He didn't even blink an eye. Like, this was great. Yes. But here's the problem with this. Eventually, someone's going to have to take the pin to lose the belts. And I sure as hell hope it's not Omos that's taking the pin to lose the belts. This guy, he could be something. He could be this unstoppable force. Just like...
Yeah.
JJ, is that you?
Yeah, it's me. Is it dragging?
Feedback?
That's not me. I don't have feedback. Do you hear feedback?
I hear feedback.
I heard a fan. I heard a fan.
Whatever.
Or maybe some. I heard some wind or something.
I'm not outside.
Well, you're in the Windy City, so.
I'm up here. I'm downstairs in the basement, so I don't think it's me. And this is where I've been recording for months. So.
I'm in the attic. Should I shut my windows off?
All right, whatever. Anyway, so this Omos guy, I really hope he doesn't have to take the pin eventually. Dude, make him undefeated. Don't have him take a bump until it's really important. This guy could really be something, but the pessimistic side of me is like, no, they'll fuck it up. So, I hope they don't, but I actually really liked what I saw with this tonight.
Very, very
They'll do something. They'll do something ridiculous. I mean, look what they did with Kali. I mean, not that I'm saying Kali's this great worker or anything, but he was a giant, and then they just had him put him in a stupid comedic gimmick after a year or so.
Well, he's a Hall of Famer now, so
I'll talk about that in a minute. Well, do you know why he's in the Hall of Fame? And I'm not saying anything bad. Sorry, JJ. I know you probably wanted to give opinions on this, JJ, in this match, but I just want to say the thing with Kali going into the Hall of Fame is that the WWE is breaking into the Indian market, and apparently Kali is immensely popular in India still. So they're kind of using him as the ambassador, just so to speak. You know what I mean?
Dude, yeah, he's like the Bruno Sammartino of India. It's bad. A lot of their ratings, like 50% of the Raw ratings come from India.
Yeah.
YouTube, it's through the roof. YouTube views from India. Yeah, that dude, he's doing something right over there. He's
so I could see why they put him in. You know what I mean? Because of that, they're trying to market in that area. So they're probably going to have some exclusive TV over there as well, and maybe even have live events. So.
Which is why the Hall of Fame is a joke.
About that another time. Let's go through these matches before we start tearing apart the Hall of Fame. Because if we don't get it, I mean, we only got we're halfway through. But seriously, because there's been plenty of times we would run out of time. So I don't want to run out of time talking about Hall of Fame at this moment. We'll get to that at the end. JJ, did you have an opinion on the tag title match with Omos and AJ in the New Day?
That Omos guy is really believable.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I agree with the both of you. Very believable. I was pissed off that Styles wasn't in a singles match, not in a big time, but maybe it's time for him to, move down a little and let other stars shine. I get it.
He's been around a lot longer than people remember. And I'm sure, JJ, you remember him coming up and, the Indies in Georgia in probably '99 or so, and then.
I remember when he was in WCW.
WCW, yep, and then he. And obviously, everybody remembers his TNA career where he was made. I mean, he had an incredible career in TNA and then New Japan. So he's been around a lot longer. He's already had like a 20-something year career. So I also heard that he wants to. I've read that he wants to slow down as well. So that could have a lot to do with what he's doing currently in his wrestling. What he wants to do currently.
Yeah, understandable, but that almost guy's believable. Sorry. You said what, Rick?
He's got a family that he wants to spend more time with, so he wants to slow down. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, he said his he signed a contract in 2019, I believe, 5-year contract. He said that's the last contract he'll ever sign. So 2024, I think that's it for him.
We'll see about that. So many people say that so many wrestlers retire and then come out, and then, or by the time they come to retirement, they don't end up retiring. So come on now, we got to see what happens in 2024.
Yeah.
So I want to ask
Shawn Michaels.
Yeah, that guy would never retire. So I want to ask you a question, Freak. What are you drinking?
Oh, I have water right now. I drank enough today. I had 4 Bud Light Platinums. And then I had a Mike's Hard Green Apple Lemonade. It was actually pretty good. So yeah, I'm trying to stay a little sober for this recording, not my live stream.
PWZ podcast brought to you by Mike's Hard Lemonade. So.
Yeah, we were drunk enough earlier.
The steel cage match between Shane and Braun Strowman. Shane enters, then Braun comes out. He's immediately attacked by Elias and Jackson Riker. This was better than expected. Better than I anticipated. I just don't like modern steel cage matches. I think Freak, we've discussed this before. JJ, they're like, how can you have a steel cage match without blood? Or, and I complained about something on the NXT show from the other night as well. It's like Adam Cole and Kyle O'Reilly put on this really good match, and they started using weapons like they were hitting each other with a chain in the face, but there was no blood. I'm just like, you're going to these lengths to use these certain weapons, such as a steel cage or a chain, and I guarantee if somebody whacked me in the face with a fist full of chain, that I would have been busted open. So, it's just there's no believability in these matches anymore. That's pretty fucking upsetting.
Well, even in if you look at really old school wrestling, a closed fist would have done it. Like the referee wasn't looking because closed fists were illegal for a long time. So, let's say the referee's distracted, you do a closed fist, you'd blade to that. Because more than likely, if you take a closed fist, knuckle shot to the forehead, you're probably going to get busted open. So don't even get me started on the whole blood debate. It's just, you can't have a cage match without blood. And I also believe you can't have a cage match to be your first match of a feud, but whatever.
I am tired of that because, I was having that discussion with somebody the other day, and, that's one of the things that happened. What was it with Bray and Seth when they had the Hell in a Cell match? I think we discussed that. Did we discuss that match? Were you as part of the podcast then? Or it was the first match they ever did, and that match took place. Was the steel cage match. I thought that's just the steel cage is supposed to be the blow-off match. It's supposed to blow off. And the fact is, they're just or any gimmick match, I should say, is supposed to be the blow-off. You get what I'm saying? The first match is supposed to be a straightforward match. Second match, maybe, no disqualification match or a lumberjack match or some bullshit. Something that ends up getting thrown out, but then the steel cage match or the strap match or something should be the final match. But I just see these feuds starting these days, and they end up going right into a gimmick match for the first match, and it's pissing me off. It's not professional wrestling the way that I remember, or that it should be, just because that's the way they always blew off the feud. How they ended the feud was supposed to be some big gimmick match, and they're just running into him right away. And for the last few years, and it just doesn't make any sense. It just makes me lose interest in the feud right away for the most part.
JJ?
Yeah, I know. I agree. It should be the end of a chapter. So
that's what it was brought in for. Like, that's what makes the most sense.
And
what can you do?
The thing about this match, I wasn't really expecting much because, quite honestly, I don't like Braun Strowman, and it's just I'm kind of indifferent with Shane McMahon. The thing with Shane McMahon, though, it's getting a little old. It's been old for a while. That every time you have a match with him, you're like, all right, what's the big spot going to be? Where it's not
he's been doing that for about 22 years. He's been doing that. You have to fall off of something.
Yeah, like, it's not special. Like, no. I do like the creativity, like Braun just ripping the cage off. That was cool.
That was dope.
Yeah, that was cool. I was like, all right, that's cool. And I never liked the whole escaping the door thing out of cage matches because to me it seems a little easy. I think you should have to work for it a little more than that. You're going to have this big blow-off steel cage match, but we don't have blow-off steel cage matches anymore.
Well, what happens if you have a manager on the outside that says, sorry to cut you off, but the door could be used as a weapon as well. Like, what is it, a manager outside or somebody's partner comes out and slams the door in your face as you're about to exit the door. So that could be used to utilize. So, and I think that's why.
Do you have managers that grab heat anymore?
No, but I mean, that would happen with Arn Anderson. But I guess I'm going back further. But I mean,
it'd be different if you have Bobby Heenan out there, or Paul Heenan, something like that.
That comes to mind, Bobby Heenan.
Yeah.
It's different now where there's no one out there. That door was used for that manager gimmick, whereas now it's just all right, I'm just gonna walk out. I don't know. I think if there's no manager out there, go over the top.
Yeah.
But I thought this was creative. I'm kind of glad Shane didn't do this over the top thing. I'm kind of glad he just got thrown off the top.
I think that one of the things is he's getting old too. He's 50-something years old. He can't be doing that. It's been about 3 years since he's done a crazy bump. So I think that he knows what he can and what he can't do, and that's why he's just throw me off the top of the cage. He landed flat on his back, so he probably. I think he was still able to walk out of there. It looked like it was pretty brutal landing in the ring, but I think he knows what he can do. So that I know that's why he wouldn't dive into the freaking table off the top of the cage.
I thought that's what was going to happen. I thought he was going to do an elbow drop onto the table.
At his age, I don't think that happens.
I don't know. I thought that bump was brutal.
Yeah, it was. In a way, that's worse than the announce table.
That's what I was thinking. Isn't that worse than the announce table?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I guess so. Yeah.
It's insane.
All right. So what else? We got The Miz and Morrison against my favorite wrestler of all time, Bad Bunny and Damian Priest. This Bad Bunny guy, he kind of actually did a bunch of wrestling moves. I was pretty impressed. He did a Hurricane Rana, a crossbody, and he had a drop toe hold, and he dropped down and did a reversal and had the Miz in the waistlock. So somebody's been teaching him some wrestling holds. I don't know who quite exactly he's been training with, but I don't know. This match was pretty fucking stupid. I love Damian Priest. The Miz and Morrison, I'm so they're got that go away heat with me. They're kind of on my nerves, and the fact that they came out with a million fucking rabbits, I felt like I was tripping on acid seeing these guys come out. I was like, what the fuck is going on? Like, it was so, like, I was freaked out. Like, and I was just like, this is so freaking weird and dumb. But I like their new hit single, Hey Hey Hop Hop. So it's my favorite song of all time. This match was way better than I expected, but it was really dumb though at the same time. And it's like, I think that Damian Priest has a huge future in WWE, and for him to make his debut at WrestleMania debut in this match, it kind of looked kind of dumb on his part or on their part. I think putting him in this match.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the problem is this Bad Bunny guy. He's like the #1 merch seller, which really shows you how bad a shape that company's in terms of making stars. That's pretty pathetic, like, honestly. But, so, I don't think he's going anywhere. I know he was in the Performance Center. I did read who was training him, but honestly, I forgot. But he's been in there for a few weeks. It's just like, he did like 5 wrestling moves. Like, he did the arm drag, the crossbody, Hurricanrana was impressive. But those are probably the only things they taught him. Like, I just wasn't impressed. It was decent for a celebrity role, but you know me, I hate the celebrity role with a passion. That's my #1 problem with wrestling to this day. Even as a kid, like, I always hated it. And I still, to this day, I hate it, no matter what you do. Like Lawrence Taylor and Bam Bam Bigelow. That was better than it should have been.
I was there for that.
Yeah, like, that was a good celebrity role, but that doesn't mean it needs to be there. I don't care how good.
At least he was an athlete and not necessarily like an actor or a musician. You know what I mean? Like, with
yeah.
Lawrence.
Well, if you want to call him a musician, but whatever. That's more noise than music. But
yeah,
I'm just that motherfucker's not going anywhere, unfortunately.
You might have a point at that one. All right, so the main event. What did you have to think about this match, JJ?
I just like you said, I thought it was somewhat impressive with Bad Baby. He did some impressive. I agree. However, I've been a fan of Punishment Martinez. What is his name? Damian Priest.
Yes. Punishment.
I remember him as Punishment Martinez in Ring of Honor. I've been a fan of his for years. I had the pleasure of seeing him live a few times at a few Ring of Honor shows out here, and it's like, man, this dude's got it. He'll be in WWE in no time. That was about 5-6 years ago, I think. And see him debut, like as Bad Bunny's tag partner on the main roster. Yeah. Really, but and it's weird because I never seen him play a face before, so that was really weird.
That's the other thing about him in WWE. As a baby face, it's a completely different character than he was in Ring of Honor.
Yeah, but maybe they're trying to tap into the Hispanic fan base or something. That's what I'm guessing. They're trying to find a nice baby face for Latinos. So I think it's the business move on their part. But if he can play a heel real good, he played a face pretty decent. So
yeah, he seems to. A lot of people really went crazy for this match. I mean, the fans in attendance.
Yes, and I was shocked. I'm like, really? Like, why are you enjoying this?
Yeah.
Well, I do want to ask you guys, do you think that was all the crowd noise, or do you think they did piped-in crowd noise? I couldn't tell.
I'm going to say that I don't think that it was piped in, because have you been watching the shows that have been piped in, Freak?
The pay-per-views, that's all I watch.
Yeah. You can kind of tell they're really formula match. They have a formula. I can't spit it out right now. But you know what I mean? They have like the certain formula where you can tell that it's just pre-programmed. Like, this one didn't necessarily seem as programmed. I mean, I could be completely wrong.
No, but I get what you're saying, Rick. I get what you're saying.
You can definitely tell there's when there's piped in crowd noise because of the way it sounds and the way that, there's fake laughter at jokes that aren't even funny, or, it's just like, of course, this guy's supposed to be the baby face, so they're, cheering him. Or it's just like the way it is, up and down and all this other stuff. It's not enjoyable.
Well, I couldn't tell because I had my TV basically very quiet because I was doing a live stream. And I could hear some cheers, and I'm just like, there's no way there's no way Bad Bunny's getting over with these people.
Yeah, he was. No, I watched it with the volume on, dude. People were,
they
were panning to the audience. And it was like, I was going fucking wild, but they're all a bunch of fucking drones.
Whatever.
Yeah, they're all, there's WWE fans and wrestling fans, so you know how that goes. So, anyways, the main event was next. I thought this was a really good match. Bianca Belair defeated Sasha Banks for the Ladies World Title, SmackDown World Title. And I thought that this match was really enjoyable. It probably could have gone longer because I think it only went about 15 minutes, didn't it? Maybe. But
You can look it up.
yeah, it's all right.
I'd say 15.
17.
Yeah. 17. It was pretty. It was pretty interesting matchup. It's and not that I really like Bianca Belair. I think she's great. Sasha never really enjoyed it until about last year, and then I started to like her. I think she puts on some really good matches. I thought this was a really good match. A lot of fun to watch.
My problem with this match is I think Bianca Belair was too dominant. Like, if you want to get her over as that, like, underdog babyface, I don't really think they were going for that. They were literally just having her be dominant. Like, I was pretty surprised. Like, it wasn't that, like, Kofi Kingston at WrestleMania 35 type deal where the crowd was behind him, and most of the time he was, taking, he was on the defense. Whereas I think Bianca Belair was mostly on the offense here. This was a very dominant match, and I was kind of took me out of it a little bit because of that. I'm just like, well, this is a little too obvious now. Like,
well, I mean, I think it was pretty obvious going in, but you got to look at the body shape, the way one looks compared to the other. I think that she looks like a different. I don't know. She just looks like she would probably kick ass. I think Bianca Belair.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. I remember when Bianca Belair made her debut. What was it? The Mae Young Classic. I want to say about 4 or 5 years ago. I think.
I'm gonna say about 4 years. Yeah, I think something like that.
Yeah, and my girlfriend at the time, we were watching the Mae Young Classic. I had gotten her into wrestling, and we both had said the same thing. Like, that chick's gonna be something, man. Like, she's gonna go all the way. She just had it, and like her character annoyed the fuck out of us. You know what I'm saying? But that's her job. I remember she came in as a heel.
Yeah, she came in as a heel, exactly.
And she played a good heel, but she was just slapping all these, all her opponents with her extension. That shit sounded rowdy. So we both dug it. She annoyed the fuck out of us, and that showed she was doing her job. And yeah, we knew that. I'm not shocked she's in the she's in now. Like, hell yeah, I'm happy.
The biggest crowd that she's ever worked in front of. I mean, for wise, right? Because has she ever come up to the main roster? What was that Survivor Series where NXT was involved? Was she involved in that? I'm trying to remember.
That I don't know. But she may have been.
25,000 people. I mean, I know that's not the biggest WrestleMania crowd, but she looked really emotional. Like, she looked nervous that she was working in front of like possibly the biggest crowd she's ever worked in front of. It was really awesome, to see her like that. That's, she worked very hard to get to where she is, and she got that title at the grandest stage of them all.
Yeah, I remember I went to NXT Brooklyn 4 in 2018, and she worked a dark match before the show. And I remember that was the first time I'd ever seen her, because I didn't watch the Mae Young Classic or anything, but like, I don't even know who her opponent was. That's how worthless it was. Like,
they ended up airing that on NXT TV later in the week.
Okay.
Yeah, I remember what the match you're talking about. I don't remember who she wrestled.
And I was like third row for that, so I was like right there, and I was like, holy shit, she is gonna be huge if they let her. Like she has talent. And I'm glad that I was able to kind of see that, like it's kind of full circle. Like I saw her when she was up and coming, and I was like, if they let her be something, she's gonna be something. And here we are. It was really cool. I think she deserved it for sure.
Yeah,
absolutely. How would you guys grade the show overall?
I'll go to B. B. I thought it was a lot better than I thought.
I mean, it was better than the Raw from the last 2 years. So, I mean, Freak, how would you think that you would grade this?
It's hard to grade it because to me, this is still half a show. So if I were to rate it as just a half, I'd say like a C+.
Okay. There's really only 2 matches that I'd say take off the show, really. And that is the Tag Team Turmoil and the Miz Bunny match. But even that was still, so maybe you can keep that in because it's actually more enjoyable than expected. So, I mean, I'd have to go. I'd have to definitely go with the B here. I think because I enjoyed even the match. The Braun and Shane match as much as I really didn't want to see it. I actually enjoyed it way more than I expected. And it seems like WrestleMania puts their heart out. They work a little bit. So I actually enjoyed, this show way more so far. Night 2, yes.
I do think tomorrow night's going to be much better. I really do.
Yeah.
I mean, the main event, I'm definitely interested in the main event. Because we'll have to see what happens there.
Yeah. We'll see.
Plus, you got Asuka and Rhea Ripley. That's going to be the show stealer right there.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that.
Really looking forward to that match. I really want to. I love Asuka. So
I love Rhea Ripley.
Yeah. So, anything else you guys want to cover before we wrap it up?
Let's cover stocks and bonds and Bitcoin and Dogecoin. No, I'm just playing. It was just a pleasure to do this again.
Yes. I'm glad to be here with my brothers.
Yeah, it's great. It's been a while.
Yeah?
Yeah.
What about yourself?
I don't know. I just feel like I don't know. Like I feel like the show will be better to judge. Like look at last year. I look at that as one payment. I do. Like this is 2 halves. So like it's hard to judge this one. Right now I give it a C+. Where tomorrow night it could be a completely different rating because to me it's 2 halves of one pay-per-view. I don't care. So yeah, it's hard to judge it. And I am looking forward to tomorrow night a lot more. Tonight I was like, whereas tomorrow night I'm like actually really excited. We could actually really see some good matches, and as much as I want Daniel Bryan to win, I doubt it, but we'll see. I think Roman's retaining for sure, but
I think that's most likely going to be the case, but you never know what will happen. So
you never know what's going to happen in the WWE.